Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa. I'm your host, Collin, and today's show is being brought to you by the GNV Commercial Advisors at Colliers, Gainesville. If your business has ever bought land, sold property, or negotiated a lease, you know why it's important to have someone in your corner who knows the market and delivers results. That's why you see so many Colliers Gainesville signs all over town. The GNV Commercial Advisory Team of Colliers Gainesville has the most experienced commercial real estate team in the market, along with access to a global network of industry experts. With one call, you'll know why so many businesses trust them. Learn more by visiting them on the web at colliers.com/Gainesville. And also, before we get into the show, I want to tell you guys about a great event that's happening soon. If you are a golfer, then you're not gonna want to miss this, baby. You have the opportunity to play at the most exclusive club in North Central Florida, Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Center. Pepin Gives, the charity arm of Pepin Realty, is hosting the first annual Pepin Gives Scramble presented by two college brothers moving in storage on Monday, December 6th. At Golden Ocala. Entry is only $175 per golfer, and that includes lunch. There will be contests and raffle prizes as well. All the proceeds will be used to help local at-risk families with their housing needs. Register by typing in this short link, tinyurl.com/Pepin, or call Pepin Realty at 352-226-8474 and ask for my buddy Andy Malden. Andy has been on the show before. He was on episode 100 when we did all the realtors and stuff. That was such a fun episode. He's been a great sponsor and a great supporter of our show. And Andy, we're so grateful for you, brother. So thank you to you, and thank you to Pepin Realty for giving back to our great community. Go golf, y'all. It's going to be a good time. Definitely check that out. Again, that's on December 6th. I believe, right? That's what I said. December 6th, Monday, December 6th. And you guys, I'm really excited today because, as you can see, we are recording our first on-location podcast for the Startup South event out here in San Felasco Tech City, where Florida's leading founders, investors, executives, and media are gathering for an epic program of interviews, pitches, music, and great food. If you've missed it this time around, be sure to stay tuned for the event next year by going to startupsouth.net. I'm pumped to be recording out here today, so let me introduce you to our awesome guest. Today on the show, we're joined by Eric Bilotta, Director of Operations for Energyware, an energy efficiency and renewable energy company. Eric, welcome to our show, man.
Thanks a lot, Collin. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this is so exciting for me to come kind of be out here, be on the spot, be on the location. A lot of cool things happening, and I want to kind of dive into how Energyware has, gotten involved with Collective & Co. out here for Startup South. But before we do that, let me hear a little bit about your story, how you got involved with Energyware, what Energyware is, where you guys based out of, all the things. So kind of unfold your story for me a little bit, please.
Yeah, so I actually got into this industry, which is, it's really more like LED lighting industry, but that's an aspect of energy efficiency via my father, who owned a business that, this was 30 odd years ago now, was retrofitting LED or exit signs from incandescent, or because they're always on 24/7, and those little halogen bulbs are very inefficient. They figured out how to retrofit them to LED. And at the time, LEDs didn't really produce a ton of light, but you don't need a ton of light in an exit sign. It just has to glow in the dark, right? So they figured out how to retrofit those signs, and that's kind of where it all started. His company was like that, and then they bought another company to manufacture commercial lights, and I started working for that company when I was 16, and have long since moved on from there, but I've basically been doing this my whole life and kind of inherited it and the passion for it from my dad. So getting involved with Energyware was really cool. I helped start the company 6 years ago. I was the company's first employee, and we started out in the DMV area, basically doing LED lighting projects for commercial, industrial customers. There was a really strong rebate program with the utility there that could practically pay for the entire project. And that rebate eventually got smaller and smaller, but we realized the ROI on our projects was so strong that customers still wanted to do them. So even if they only wanted to improve their bottom line, the savings was so good. They could realize that savings and pay for the project via savings within a couple of years. And then, of course, the guys who wanted to do a project because it was the right thing to do for the environment, they didn't really mind one way or another. But we were able to take that from the DMV area and bring it out to the whole country. So today we cover nationwide, all 48 contiguous states. We could go to Alaska and Hawaii. We haven't been lucky enough to yet, but hopefully we get to go to Hawaii one day. So yeah, that's really kind of how Energyware started and got going, and how I got connected to the industry.
So how old's the company?
The company is 6 years old now.
Okay. And how big is it now?
We have 14 direct employees and over 500 agents throughout the country.
Okay. How did that just get set up?
Yeah.
You know, like when you go for, I mean, in 6 years, when you're doing business all over the country, you know, I'm always interested in just the steps to growth.
Yeah. So we, the previous owner of the company who started it, had just sold his previous company. It was a telecom company. They had just sold it out to Vonage, and he was looking for something new to do. And I actually met him.
That's such an entrepreneurial thing to do, right?
Isn't
like
it?
Sell a company, like, oh, like what's next? I'm kind of bored. I don't know what to do.
He can't stop. He's just all action all the time. And I think he got about 2 weeks into not really having much going on and was like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I would be the same way for sure.
Exactly. It's like, it's weird to have downtime, right? So I met him through a contractor that I was working with in the DMV area. I was actually selling lights to him. And he kind of saw the power of this opportunity, and that energy efficiency, environmental awareness, all this stuff is becoming so much more important and so much more mainstream and so much more popular 5-6 years ago. It was just kind of getting traction. But he saw the opportunity and where this was going and thought, this is the time to get in. Let's do this now. So we talked, and shortly after that, Energyware was born. And from there, it's been kind of a wild ride, just rapidly expanding throughout the country. I mean, our first projects were not even in Florida. I think our first ever project was in Illinois, even though we were based in Florida at the time. So it was pretty interesting, kind of roller coaster there. We've done a lot of work in Florida, but we've always kind of had this national footprint.
Yeah. Is there one state that you do more work in than others?
No, we're pretty spread out.
Yeah.
We've done a ton of projects in Florida, it being our home state, but we've also worked pretty heavily in Indiana, in California, and Colorado. Those are probably the biggest ones, but we cover the whole country. We've done 39 states, projects in 39 states now, and hopefully we'll get the rest of them soon.
So can you describe to me like what a project looks like?
Yeah, so the core product for Energyware when we first started was LED lighting. Commercial and industrial customers, education, and healthcare. So hospitals, schools, warehousing, manufacturing, office spaces, and we branched out into multifamily for that as well. So a project for us is we want to manage the whole thing and make it as easy as possible for our customer.
And is this like when they're in the design phase or in the building phase? Like, I mean, where do you guys kind of come in?
Yeah, so
to the project?
We work with existing buildings more so than new construction. So
Okay.
it's more retrofit work.
Okay.
And we want to make it as easy as possible for the customer in the sense that we're going to provide the product, we're going to provide the labor, we're going to work with whatever municipality or entity we need to for permitting, licensing. We'll work with the utility company for any rebates or incentives that are available. We'll handle any warranty work that might come up if a light stops working after we install it. We take care of all of that for them. So we really want it to be like a one-stop shop. Everything's under one umbrella. Our own engineers, our own architects, our own electricians. And then we use all tier 1 and tier 2 manufacturers for the lighting product. So they're all big companies that aren't going anywhere, not going to disappear. All the product is top quality. And we really want to make it so that the customer doesn't have to think about making the switch. Because any of these businesses, it's really hard to go in and make a big change inside of a building, right? It can interrupt your production process, your employees working throughout the day. We try to get around that by making sure that we can work whatever hours keep us out of their way. So we'll do second and third shift labor, that's okay. Or we'll do, if we can work while they're working, we'll do that as well. But we want to try and make it as painless as possible and take as many variables and as many different, it's hard when you're juggling a contractor, a subcontractor, a supplier, the utility company. There's so much going on. We want to make it easy for them. So they only have to talk to us and we handle the rest.
Who's your primary customer?
Anything commercial, industrial. We do a lot of work with school districts, primary school districts.
I guess how do they discover you? Like, I guess if I'm one of those, like, how do they find out about Energyware? Is it just a simple Google search? Like, I mean,
Yeah, we'll show up on Google, but we also have 500 agents who represent us throughout the country.
Okay.
And they're trusted agents in the technology space. So they're already working with customers, and they're basically bringing new technology to their existing customer. And that's us. So we're kind of utilizing their connections, and then we're also doing some direct work as well.
Okay, is there like a pitch involved with that? Like why would, if I had an existing school or, hospital or something, are these agents going out and pitching them on the savings that they're going to have by doing this? Like what's the process, I guess, for the agent?
Yeah, so the two big things of it are you have the savings, right, for the company or for the school, and that's just money that goes back onto the bottom line.
Is it pretty significant?
Yes, it definitely can be. So lighting is kind of weird. You don't think about it, but it can be anywhere between 35 and upwards of 60% of your electric bill every month. So it's a massive expenditure. And especially in a large building, you can cut an energy bill significantly just by changing the lights. So for a business or someone who's just purely motivated by the bottom line, there's an upfront cost to it. But we have different financing vehicles available as well. And we want to create a situation where the customer can be cash flow positive from day one. So we always want them to realize instant savings. And then along with that, they get brighter lights, better lights, more consistent lights throughout their workspace, which improves employee productivity, comfort in the workplace. It just creates a better environment. And then for places like schools, or for schools, hospitals, you have more money available to do things with. Like for a school, the savings from changing the lights out could go towards a teacher's salary or more supplies for the teachers and the students, things like that. So it kind of creates more options and more flexibility for a school.
I mean, in terms of the agent setup, is this something like you guys as the company are going out and finding the agents, or are the agents kind of finding you type thing?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, we initially we were
for our audience, everybody who's listening, you can tell I'm trying to like get a complete understanding of the model, right? I'm trying to really grasp how it goes from y'all's locations, and you said you had like 14 district.
We have 14 direct employees.
And then from there it goes to the agents.
Correct.
Okay, I'm following.
Yeah. So the agents we look for, but if someone contacts us and is interested in being an agent, which you can do through our website, we're happy to talk to you, and we can put you through onboarding as well. So it really goes both ways. It's just an exciting space to be in. It's growing all the time. So more and more companies are becoming more aware of it, wanting to do something for energy efficiency. And then the knock-on effect for that is sales agents that maybe don't play in this space are now becoming aware of this space, and they want to get involved. So working with a company like Energyware can help them get involved directly.
Okay. It's LED lighting. Is it anything else?
Yes, absolutely. That was our core product that we started the company on. We've since branched out pretty significantly. We offer solar. That's our other huge product now, and that's renewable space is growing all the time as well. Mm-hmm. And then we can do HVAC stuff, and for like multifamily or like student housing where there's a lot of kind of touch points for water, we can do some water conservation stuff as well. Okay. That's a little more niche.
Cool. And so you said earlier that you were previously based in Florida. That's not the case anymore?
No, so COVID had a big impact on this. We had our corporate office in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale. And we had to, when basically the world stood still, right, as everything closed down for COVID, we kind of kept going. We transitioned to work from home, and we were already a little bit spread out. We have sales directors in California and Denver and the Mid-Atlantic. So we kind of cover the whole country anyway. And our project managers are in the Mid-Atlantic, the East Coast, and the West Coast. So we were already spread out. We just kind of had like a core office staff in our corporate office. We realized we were just as efficient, if not more so, just purely working from home. So we actually kind of gave up the traditional office space, and we're now just kind of a fully compartmentalized.
Add that savings to the bottom line.
Kind of. Yeah. There was no need for the overhead to exist because we were able to do everything, in my opinion, better that way. So it really worked out well.
Has it, one of the things that I'm really interested in, as a lot of people, a lot of businesses make a transition very similar to that, is workplace culture.
Yeah.
That's something that's come up multiple times. Like, well, if you don't ever get to see each other, or if it's always just via Zoom, or, can you really build a company culture? Have you guys had any struggles with that as you moved away from having a physical office space? Or maybe it wasn't even, something to be worried about at all because you were spread out anyway? Like, I don't know, but I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, we were already kind of spread out, so that made it kind of an easier transition. But for kind of the group of us who were always in the corporate office, it was a little bit odd at first. And, Zoom happy hours are fun and all, but you do kind of want to see people face to face from time to time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we do, now that kind of everything's opening back up, we'll be kind of doing events for all the employees from time to time so everyone can get together. And travel is a big component for our project managers, for our sales folks, and for some of our ops guys. So for me personally, I'm kind of always out and about interfacing with our sales team or working with a project manager or an electrician on something. So I kind of get to still see people, but yeah, it's definitely tough to stay connected. You just kind of have to keep hopping on the Zoom calls, and then at such a time where we can all get back together, we will.
So where are you kind of based at?
I'm out of Fort Lauderdale.
You're out of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get connected to everything that's happening here at Startup South and with Collective & Co, and how did Energyware get involved with this group?
Yeah, our marketing director moved up here during COVID, kind of when everything was locked down. They moved up here. They wanted a little bit of a different outlook, a little more space, right, for their family. So they moved up here, and his name's Boaz. He met Kwong from Collective. Boaz lives, I don't know, right down the road. They're practically neighbors. So
okay.
And they started talking, and what Collective's doing is really cool, and it's kind of a neat opportunity for Energyware to kind of reach out to the kind of young businesses and young entrepreneurs and just kind of interface with them. So Boaz and Kwong hit it off. He introduced Kwong to the rest of the company, and I mean, he's awesome. So we were really excited to get out here and meet him and kind of start working in this area with him.
Okay. And so is the purpose just to grow y'all's presence, and work to do what you guys do with some of the buildings and municipalities here, or is it, trying to recruit workers from here? What is the primary purpose for you guys? Where would you guys benefit the most from this relationship, I guess, is a better question to ask.
Yeah. Gainesville and Alachua are growing fast. I mean, it's really exciting, and a lot of that growth is pretty tech-based. I mean, the building we're sitting in right now is awesome in that sense. It's covered in solar panels. All the lights are LED. Everything is super efficient. It's very cool, and that kind of drive towards utilizing this technology is very exciting to us. So it's a place we want to be, and it's a place we want to do business. But more so than just doing business here, we're excited to establish a presence and kind of become a part of the community via one of our directors now living here. So it's kind of both fronts. We're really happy to be here, and we're excited to do business here, but we're also really excited to be a part of it.
As a company, what would you say is the biggest challenge you guys have faced thus far?
Yeah, so it's COVID related.
Yeah.
I mean, this raw material shortages and chip shortages are really tough, especially on the products that we're selling. So we're facing kind of interesting logistical issues sometimes, and we've been able to largely overcome that by being extremely flexible regarding vendors we work with and kind of being agile that way, not being married to one manufacturer, so to speak.
Did business really take a huge dip when COVID happened?
So it was interesting. At first, yes, because everyone, no one knew what to do, right? Everything just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
But eventually, a lot of our customers realized, there's no one in our buildings. What better time to upgrade it? So that was kind of nice, and that kind of helped us stay solid and kind of work through COVID. So we still had business coming in, and we were still doing projects, but there was kind of a big momentary pause there.
Yeah, but then everybody had that mindset, okay, everything's going to get back to normal at some point. Let's upgrade the building.
Yeah. It just took a while to get there, right? Because it was God, when is this going to be over?
How long did it take to get there for you guys?
Do you know how many? We had a pretty rough 3 to 4 months in there.
Okay.
And then kind of started to pick up again, and it's still tricky. It's it's still kind of hard to justify spending money at the moment, but we're kind of getting back to normal and getting back out and about. So, do
you guys struggle with, from the agent standpoint and finding the people to do the actual installs? There's so much, people talking about labor shortages and finding good help. Do you guys have any of those challenges?
It can definitely be difficult, especially people are always kind of jumping at trying to get to the lowest bidder, and we kind of find you really get what you pay for when you do that stuff. So we really work really hard to qualify any electrician we're going to work with. If it's not going to be one of our guys, we really want to vet them and make sure they're doing quality work, and we're not afraid to work with someone who's not the lowest bidder in order to get the right result, which is really important. We really stand by the quality of the service we offer more than anything. It's the most important thing for us is for our customer to have a good experience from start to finish with a project. Not just to appreciate the end result, but to be happy with the process to get there as well.
Talk to me a little bit more about the supply chain issues, or just, when you say that, is it just you're part of the group that has stuff stuck on the water right now waiting to come into port? Is it like one of those types of things? Or
there was a moment where that was the case, and actually the boat that had our containers of lights on it lost a bunch of containers into the Pacific, and our containers were a couple of them. So that was kind of tricky.
Actually fell
into the ocean
because of storm, or what?
Yeah, well, this was kind of at the peak of everything being stopped. So there was all these cargo ships kind of just off the shore that could not come to the port and unload, and they were just waiting and waiting and waiting. And the boat, kind of this bad storm kind of rocked it, and a bunch of containers fell off of it, and
a couple of them were ours. Oh my gosh!
So that was a wild experience. Because you're calling your customer like, hey, we're delayed, here's why, and they're like, no way. You know what I mean?
What do you even say to that? I know, what do you even say to that? It's like, I feel like that would be my containers too.
Right. We got the call from the manufacturer, and we were like,
you gotta be kidding.
April Fools, right? Yeah. So that's like
then you got to start all over, remanufacture the product.
Yeah, it was.
Get it back on the containers. That had to delay things for quite a long time.
It was tricky. We actually, unfortunately, had to pivot to a different manufacturer for that, but they understood, and when the product did come in, we were able to find a new home for it. So it worked out pretty well. But we couldn't make our customer wait another, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it was. So we were able to make that work. It's the main thing with the supply shortage for us is being able to be flexible to find the right substitute and not compromise the quality of the product, because some vendor that we work with will have the stuff. We just have to identify it in the right moment and get a hold of it. Yeah. And it is tricky, and especially logistically is the big thing. So it's not just a product shortage, but product costs are going way up.
Right.
And they're going way up because the logistics, the shipping is so brutal now. I mean, the price of a container of lights from a factory into the US has gone up 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
From the beginning of last year. I mean, it's a wild increase that it just has a ripple effect all through all the product and all the costs.
Do you think that will calm down and level out, or come back down, or do you see it just being there forever?
I don't know how long it goes on, but eventually kind of the shortage has to get solved, right? It's all kind of solved by everything stopping at once, or started by everything stopping at once. So I'm not sure it ever goes all the way back, but there has to be some middle ground, right? I just don't know how long that could take.
That's obviously a big challenge that you guys have been facing. Are there any others?
That's really the biggest set of them. We've been kind of moving along otherwise.
Okay. And where do you guys see your business? Like, if you had to look 5 years down the road, like, what does your business look like?
Yeah, we're trying to just kind of continue to grow, continue to work with these big clients. I mean, some of the guys we work with, like Duke University. We've done a couple projects now with Whirlpool, Ventas Corporation. Clients like that, we want to continue to bring more of those guys into our umbrella and support them and take care of their energy efficiency needs and just continue to grow.
What are you most excited about with this event here tonight?
I'm excited on a couple of levels. I think it's going to be really fun to listen to all the pitches and kind of hear all these cool ideas coming out of these guys. But I'm also just kind of excited to network and to meet them and really just kind of enjoy my time. Yeah.
Awesome, man. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Where can our audience learn more about you guys? Your website, any social media handles, that kind of thing that you can throw out there?
Our website, www.energywarellc.com. We're on Instagram, Energyware LLC. Those are really the best 2 places to find us. Or, of course, we're on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, the website or Instagram would be the best 2 places to go.
Very cool. And just for everybody who's listening, I mean, obviously those that are watching, you can see that our set is completely different because we're out here in Collective & Co space in San Felasco Tech City. And again, the website for the event is startupsouth.net. I'm sure if you're like listening to this, you know, maybe you didn't make it out this time, but they're going to try to make this happen every year. This is going to be awesome. I'm excited. I'm looking through the glass here and just watching them get everything set up as we're here recording. And, you know, definitely stay tuned. There's a lot of exciting things happening in the Gainesville and Alachua area. Definitely excited that we've been able to be a part of it. So, you know, thank you to Kwong and everybody for including us. And yeah, Eric, thanks again for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You guys, of course, thank you to our team that makes this possible. James Leitner, Sarah Lentz, and our awesome intern team, Trinity, Gianna, and Noah, for all of your hard work. To our listening audience, remember that you can connect to our sponsors that make the show happen by going to whoagnv.com/sponsors. You can always find their links in the show notes as well, and in the descriptions and in all the social media feeds. So definitely go get connected to the people that make this show happen. And when you reach out to our sponsors, be sure to say, I heard you on the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go,
whoa.
whoa. We will see you later. Bye.